Welcome to a new episode of Outside the Panels with your host, Johnny the Machine Hughes.
Welcome everyone to an episode of Outside the Panels. I'm your host, Johnny the Machine Hughes, and you guys know how I like looking at books from the DC universe all the way to Zenoscope. Everything in between gets my rapt attention. All right, so without further ado, let me bring on tonight's guest. It is writer creator. It's James Kochalka. Oh, hey,
Kochalka.
You know, I've been practicing so much, and I get it right.
It's funny. We went over it right before. And that was worse than any of your other tries. It's okay. Don't worry. Okay. Kochalka.
Thank you. Sorry, I apologize. Getting names wrong is my mutant ability. You know what I mean? The X-Men never call me up because they know I'm going to say Cyclops instead of Cyclops. So, you know, I have no idea what a Wolverine is, but you know. Why did they never call me, man? They were over on Krakow and I'm stuck in England. I apologize, James.
Yeah, it's like Dungeons and Dragons. You see all those words and you think they're pronounced one way in your head until you come across another person who knows better.
So is it Venger or is it Venger? It's Venger, right? The dude with the one horn. That's
yeah.
What do you call the six-headed dragon? Is that Tiamat? Is that right?
Yeah.
It's been ages since I played Dungeons and Dragons.
Tiamat. Well, I don't. Who knows? Who knows how you're supposed to pronounce it?
Well, fine. So today I am the dungeon master. There we go.
I got 50 feet of rope. And I got some flasks of oil, holy water.
All right. Oh dear. Roll a 20 and let's get going. Right. So we're here to talk about your book. It's not your first book. This is the third volume. This is Dragon Puncher, Book 3. Dragon Puncher Punches Back.
That's right.
If I had trouble with your name, I almost had trouble with the title. So, 10 years.
Dragon Puncher punches back.
Yeah, there you go. See? Sounds all right. Did you lose a bet for the title? No. It's been 10 years since the last book. Is that right?
Yeah. Yes. I actually had forgotten I did a spin-off book in between. Dragon Puncher meets Johnny Boo, which combined two of my kids' book series in one, Johnny Boo and Dragon Puncher. But that's it's kind of funny because it's the mashup between the two books. It's not considered a Johnny Boo book and it's not considered a Dragon Puncher book. It's
one of those crazy alternative multiverse books.
I guess, yeah. That's what
everyone's doing then.
When I was a kid, I really liked when Casper the Friendly Ghost would meet Richie Rich.
Yeah.
So I wanted to do my own.
Yeah, cool. Fair enough.
Anyhow, but that's so it's not neither here nor there.
Why did it take 10 years? Life.
I mean, it only takes a month to draw one of the books, so it's not I could have had 1 million come out in between, but is that true?
Life.
A month?
Life.
It takes me the Dragon Puncher books go pretty fast. I think I can do one in about a month. Maybe it's 2 months, somewhere like that.
So treat me like I'm an uninitiated person who can't see your name. What's Dragon Puncher all about then?
Okay, Dragon Puncher is about a cat in a robot battle suit and their fuzzy little friend, and they fight dragons. Now, the cat in the robot battle suit is my cat, Spandy. She actually passed away a while ago. And the cat and the child is my son, Eli, who actually is now grown up. He's 19 and in his second year of college. Now, the way that I draw this is sort of important. information to if you're imagining like what does this book look like? The cat, it's a combination of drawing and photography, right? Yeah. So the characters are drawn, but their faces are photographed. So Dragon Puncher's face is a photo of my cat Spandy, and this other character Spoonie, the face is a photograph of my son Eli. And it all takes place down in the field behind my house. The field behind my house before I lived here, I guess for many decades, it was the town dump. So it's a gigantic hill of garbage. And then there's like a layer of like a foot or 2 feet of dirt. And now like tall grass grows and stuff. So these, the photos in this book were taken in spring of last year. And I woke up one morning and looked out the window, and there was just this amazing thick fog all over the whole field, like nothing I'd ever seen before down there. So I rushed out and took, several hundred pictures, thinking this would be a great backdrop for a new Dragon Puncher book. So the first Dragon Puncher book was in the field, like during summer. So everything's green and beautiful, and there's blue skies, and there's leaves on the trees. The second Dragon Puncher book, Dragon Puncher Island, I did at one of our favorite vacation spots, which is Monhegan Island in Maine. And it's an island it's like 20 miles off the coast. So it's way out there. Really? And it's one of the few islands in Maine that still has a year-round population. So year-round, during the summer with visitors and stuff, the population swells to like, I don't know, maybe like 1,000 people or something. And in the winter, it's more like 60 people. The lobster men and their families that's
sick of lobster. What's for tea night? Lobster. Oh, great. Again.
Well, I don't know what, maybe they eat lobster too. Maybe they're sick of it. I don't know.
So why, help me out. So how did you come up with the idea of doing like cross media then? Because it's not seen as much as it used to be. Back in the comic book days, Jack Kirby, Steranko used to do this sort of mashup and stuff, and then you've taken like a step further by adding the younger art in there, rather than the superhero stuff.
Yeah,
although there are superhero tendencies in there, of course. But this book has a lot in common with superhero stuff. I mean, it's more like superhero adventures, more in this way that like little kids play at being superheroes, right? And the kind of adventures that you would have in your backyard, playing superheroes. That's what the cat and Spoonie do together. Really, they're playing at being Dragon Puncher, Yeah. Especially when that ball of yarn comes in.
Yeah, that's right.
That thing good.
Yeah, they have a massive battle against a ball of yarn.
I have to say, I have a cat. I have a black and white cat called Nokia, she's a rescue cat.
Does she have a knock in her ear?
No, Nokia. So it's like the telephone. Do you have Nokias over there? The mobile phone.
I'm not even sure if I can totally understand the word you're saying.
So Nokia, Nokia. It's a mobile phone.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. We'd say Nokia.
Oh, there you go. And the reason she got the name is she was handed into a vet by being tied to a store handle with a phone charge around her neck.
Oh my God.
So the vet took her in, gave her a PTSD name. And then when she was well enough, she was shipped off to like a rescue place. And when we went in to get a different cat, we had our eyes set on this different cat. She jumped in from the rafters of where she was, sat on my shoulder, licked my ear, and purred at me. So we're taking this one.
Yeah, I got it.
So So when I see this book, I open it up and there's a cat in a battle suit. I'm like, right, I'm sold.
Yeah, nice, sweet.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
I'm thinking my cat would love one of these. If
yeah.
not just to like give it what for the cat next door, Shadow, who's a badass. So I think you're kind of under a winner here. For at least all the cat brigade would definitely like one.
Yeah. And my cat Spandy was an indoor cat her whole life, so she got to have her outdoor adventures just in the book.
Cool. Yeah. So
I'm not like evangelical about whether a cat should be indoor or outdoor. I know there's a lot of argument about that.
Yeah.
The cats, right now I have 2 cats, and one cat's an indoor cat and the other cat's an outdoor cat.
Well, I think it depends. It depends on 2 things. 1, the cat, and 2, your environment.
Yeah.
So, for example, if you lived in like the 40th floor of an apartment building, chances are you've got an indoor cat.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Although Spandy, I know not at our house now, but at an old apartment, she used to go out on the roof.
Right, yeah.
And just like basically shout at all the birds.
Our cat, if we've got the windows open upstairs, like we were in a townhouse, so we have 3 floors. On our 2nd floor, if we open up the windows, she likes to walk out of one window, across the windowsill on the outside, and then back in the other window. And we're all like this underneath her, trying to catch her in case she falls.
Yeah.
Stupid cat.
Yeah, my outdoor cat now, she's a black, she's a very small cat, but really fluffy. Yeah. And her name's Wendy. Anyhow, she'll climb up the tree next to our house and jump over the roof, and then come over to our bedroom window and scratch at the screen and I'm like, I don't want to let her in the window. Yeah. But then I go downstairs, and then she climbs down the tree again, and I let her in the back door. Actually, we just cut that tree down, so she can't do it anymore.
Bash.
Well, that's not why we cut it down. We didn't cut it down to stop her from climbing up, but we cut it down because it was growing right next to the house, and it's not good for the foundation, I guess.
Yeah. Cool. Don't worry, I'm sure all the environmentalists are now just turning off in droves. So you've got the cat in a battle suit, and you've got Spoonie, and you've got the imaginary dragons, whether it be the ball of yarn or other people that rock up in the book. I'm interested in how you got to see the world like that, to come up with the idea of putting your cat in a battle suit and going from there.
Yeah, well, it started actually as a Christmas card. I had to draw. I didn't have to draw a Christmas card. I wanted to draw a Christmas card.
Damn Christmas holidays. Now I've got to do something.
Oh, I know. Well, most years I don't. Most years I get overwhelmed, and then I promise my wife I'll do it, and then in the end she just picks a family photo and sends it off to one of those sites that prints up cards.
Yeah. We're not sponsored by them, so we can't say the name. Sorry.
But one year I said I'd do it, and I did it, so I drew myself in like a superhero suit, and it was like photo background. Picked a nice wintry scene, drew a costume with an empty space for my face, and put my face in there. Did the same for my wife Amy. Did and the cat and the robot battle suit was almost exactly like it is in the book, the exact same suit. And I was like, ooh, that looks really good. And then I drew, and then Eli then was just itty bitty. So I drew like Fuzzy Monster and put his face in there. And I was like, I think I got something. So like I would never have drawn these books at all if I hadn't made that Christmas card. And when I made the Christmas card, I had no particular idea of what I wanted to do. I was just trying to find some way of getting us all into a picture. And I wanted to draw something.
Yeah. So do you find, so what's, first of all, what's the attraction for writing and drawing? early years books?
Oh, sure. Well, for the first decade or so of my comics career, I was just drawing for adults. I was in my 20s, so I was drawing comics for 20-somethings. And then
I'm not quite sure I like the way you said that.
Well,
for 20 somethings.
Oh, because I'm old now. I wasn't thinking I was drawing comics for 55-year-olds like I am now. I was thinking I was drawing, for my peers. Anyhow, I was drawing comics and just drawing what I liked. And then I drew a few books that kids liked. I thought I was drawing them for grown-ups, but kids bought them. And maybe the first like that might have been Monkey versus Robot.
Okay.
We recently did a great 25th or 20th, I don't know, 20 or 25th anniversary edition of that book. The original is black and white, so I colored it, and it includes 3 Monkey versus Robot graphic novels. The first one, Monkey versus Robot, then Monkey versus Robot and the Crystal of Power, and then I drew a whole third one just for the book collection, so that never appeared anywhere else before. Monkey versus Robot and the Crystal of Power, I had always wanted it to be in color, but when I first drew it, we couldn't afford to print in color. So Top Shelf has come a long way since then. But so I was finally able to do that one the way, it's really supposed to be. Anyhow, so that book, it's actually pretty violent. And I got a letter once from a little kid, like kindergartner or first grade or something like that. And they were like, I can't believe you would draw such a horrible book for children. I was like, I didn't draw it for children. They just like it. I mean, obviously some don't. That one didn't. Because they beat the hell out of each other, and there's blood and stuff. And but it is drawn in like, a sort of cartoony way. Yeah, like my stuff. I draw cartoons.
So that brings up an interesting point, though, James, because there is like there's a bridge, isn't there, between the abstract cartoon style and yet the adult stylings of the humor. Because otherwise, I mean, look at The Simpsons, for example. The Simpsons aren't, well, maybe they are now, I'm not so sure, but back when they started, they weren't sophisticated at all, right? And yet kids love watching The Simpsons, but all the jokes are like this.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
They like it because Homer does daft things, not what Homer says.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
he does say a lot of funny things. Yeah. I think it's funny even if you don't understand it. It just sounds funny.
I suppose that's also some of the charm of some Disney stuff. The fact, I mean, The Lion King, one of my favorite Disney movies. I watched it with my kids. I'm like, you know what? This is really scary.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's dark, The Lion King. It's darker than Return of the Jedi.
Yeah. For sure.
So that mixture must have been that, you're writing or you're creating a book for older people, but there's something aesthetically that the kids are liking, right?
Yeah, and I mean, I like fun comics. I like adventure, and I really like silly stuff. So, I mean, kids like that. Yeah. And then I had my own kids. Then I really, really applied myself to try and make them the best they could possibly, to really entertain the kids. But I kept what I learned from the others that, they don't like to be, they don't really want to be like talked down to or coddled or, like, here's your stupid kid stuff,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know what you mean, yeah.
Yeah. Or here's a lesson you've got to learn. Like I'm not.
Remember, kids, evil will never win.
Yeah. So, I think I end up, might end up being some kind of lesson, but the lesson's not
Not be all and end all.
not my priority.
I'm
just trying to have fun, trying to make a story that that they'll love.
Yeah,
not trying to teach them something.
Well, looking through the preview pages that you sent through and the book for me, I have to say that the cat in the suit, man, you have got a cat's personality down perfect.
Awesome.
At least my cat, you've got my cat down perfect. It's so, the way he's just so dismissive of everything and so superior. And he's kind of like, he's like, look at me, I'm a cat in a suit. That's just a broken spoon on a stick. And he's like, he's not having it. He's like, no, this means something. And he's like, the cat's like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah. It's the most powerful spoon in the world.
Yeah, well, hey, ice cream and
in a previous one, the cat snapped his spoon in half. It's just like, stop it with this spoon business.
Yeah.
Threw it on the ground. So now he's taped it. He's taped it to a much longer stick. Now it's the most powerful spoon in the world.
Oh dear God! So there is some He-Man in there after all. Right, we'll take a quick break for one of our other shows whilst we regroup for some more questions.
That's great. I'll be here.
Me too. It's a No Price Podcast. There's the No Price Podcast, the show all about Marvel Comics, the MCU, and of course Disney Plus. So I expect some She-Hulk shenanigans on there at some stage. James, am I right in thinking you spent some time in Marvel?
Reading it or
working on it?
Yeah, no, I have done. I've done some. I've done I did a very short, but for its length, wildly influential, Incredible Hulk comic called The Hulk versus the Rain, which they have basically reused that scene in 3 different movies.
Whoa!
Including Thor Ragnarok, I think.
Did you get a little bit of cheddar cheese for that then?
Oh!
Sons of... This is, I think, one of the problems for comic book fans as well as comic book creators. We go and watch these movies and we'll see a scene and we're like, wait, that was in. And part of me, I mean, I love the DC animation stuff, right? But part of me, absolutely, my heckles rise up when someone says, Hush, a brand new original DC animated movie. I'm like, it's not original. It's based on the comic book.
Yes, exactly.
Like, come on, man. It's not original. And I think to myself, why am I buying the damn cartoon? I've got the comic. What am I doing?
Yeah, and it's usually not quite as good.
Different is how I always go with it.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the difference in Gotham by Gaslight. There's a nice twist in the animated version of Gotham by Gaslight. So
yeah,
but the original's a classic.
Yeah, right, exactly. I don't really know that one, but okay. I know the general premise of adapting something from one medium to another, and it's usually a give and take. You gain some wonderful things, and you lose some wonderful things, right? And so, if you know the original, you feel bad about the wonderful things you lost.
Yeah.
But you haven't really lost them because they're still there in the original.
Yeah. Just in a pile of comics out there somewhere.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
So this brings us up into a nice little topic then. So with the current trend of how can I put this? Zany non-standard cartoons. Yeah. So think Rick and Morty, think if you go back a little bit, Blue and the House of Imaginary Friends or
Yep.
Animals that was looking for. Do you think there's an animation place for Dragon Puncher?
I think absolutely. Almost like any show on Cartoon Network, probably there's people working on that show that are big James Kochalka fans, or at least have been for the last couple decades.
So say your name right, so that's a good thing, right?
Yeah. But we put together a TV pitch for Dragon Puncher. We haven't started shopping it yet, but we will pretty soon, I think.
Cool. I can actually see it working.
I think it would be amazing.
Yeah. Agreed. Absolutely. If you could have your Dreamcast, who would it be? Who would be the cat?
Oh, like who would do the voice of the cat? Like
Because you wouldn't want a cat going meow, meow, meow. Not Charlie says, but who would you want?
I don't know. No, there's so many people that could be good. Like
do you want someone like dark and menacing?
Well, there's all sorts of ways you could go. I mean, like you could go really flamboyant, go with like Jack Black, or you could go more, more serious. You could go with a Darth Vader kind of voice, or you could go, or you could go like, like just make him sound like a dad or something, like Will Ferrell. Like I would just have to. What I really like to do when I cast something is I have a hard time knowing ahead of time what I want everything to sound like. Yeah. So I just have, just listen to a lot of auditions, and then it's a combination of picking a voice that you like the way it sounds, like you like their take on the character, but also pairing the different characters together. So like all the voices have to, even more important than what one particular voice sounds like is how it sounds in relation to the other voices.
Yeah, cool. I totally agree. I can imagine because of the crazy stuff the cat does, I would very much be very tempted to go Adam West sort of serious.
Yeah.
But he's like, then when something bonkers.
Or who's that guy? I forget the actor's name who played Putty on Seinfeld.
Yeah. I don't know his name, but I know who you mean. Yeah.
I should know his name. He's been in a lot of great things, and he was the Tick for a while, the live action Tick.
Love the Tick. All right, cool. It's a bit of a new age. It's a bit of a renaissance, as it were, for indie books. Every time I see going to a comic book shop, there's more and more indie books. How do you feel being at the forefront of that? I mean, you've been massively successful with a range of kids' books. You've now the third Dragon Puncher book out there. You've been at the forefront when it was a fledgling type of process.
Yeah.
Now it seems like indie books are selling quicker than dare I say old pointy ears.
Feels great. It was we in the 90s fought pretty hard to make it happen. Fought for space in comic book stores, fought really hard for space in bookstores. I think that my cohorts and I in the 90s might have been the first generation that was basically focused just on the graphic novel, like not really doing the floppies. Yeah.
I'm a floppies fan though. I'm old school.
I love them too. I had can't remember how many issues it was, but the sequel to Super Efforts Forever, I did as a monthly comic with IDW for think it was like five or six issues. I can't remember.
I will say this: I think IDW are probably one of the most underrated indie publishers out there. Them and Boom, because you think of them just as tie-in, you know. It's like, oh, they've got the Star Trek.
IDW is gigantic.
They've got Buffy. But you're absolutely right. IDW, the range of stuff that they cover, you know, is immense. Same with Boom Studios. Some of their mature stuff has been out top notch.
Well, I was worried when IDW bought Top Shelf. Well, you know, just because I didn't know what that would mean for me, and I've been with Top Shelf since the beginning. I think it must be the 25th anniversary of Top Shelf this year.
Okay. That explains all the books.
So when I said before that I thought maybe that edition of Dragon Puncher was the 25th anniversary of 25th anniversary, it must have been the 20th, because I'm pretty sure this year is the 25th anniversary of Top Shelf. Anyhow, I've been with them since before they were called Top Shelf. I think originally Brett Warnock he called the company Primal Groove Press, and it was just him, and he called the anthology comic Top Shelf. And then when he partnered up with Chris Staros to start the company that is Top Shelf now, they went with that as their name of the company. So I've been with them the whole time, and I just didn't know what was going to happen. And Brett left, and anyhow, it was great. The first thing that IDW did was I had a whole bunch of books that were out of print, Johnny Boo books that were out of print, and they put them all back into print. And I was like, Top Shelf couldn't afford to put them back into print. You know, like when you have backlist like that and you print new ones, you know, you sell at a trickle. You're not going to make that money back like you do with a brand new book. Hope I didn't clap too close to the mic. Anyhow, so like, you know, they would try to keep stuff in print, but if we had like 5 of the books out of print at once, that's a massive lump sum to drop that's then going to be tied up. You know, like you're not going to make it back right away, like you're not going to make it back very quickly like you do with a fresh new book. So they did that. And
but I suppose the flip of that, though, James, is that it's getting your name back out in comic book stores, right? You might not get the money back straight away, as you say, but you are now live and proud, and you can be purchased, and people can look back and this guy, and then you know that trickle leads into something else, and lo and behold, someone's bought 15 books.
It's good to have the books in print because, you know, you come out with a new one, people want to check out the old ones.
Yeah.
You know, like, although I try to write them so that, like, if you just pick up the newest one, Dragon Puncher Punches Back, you don't have to have read the other Dragon Puncher books. Everything you need to know is right there. I think this new one's drawn a lot better than I got so much better in the time that has gone by.
Which did you prefer, writing or drawing? Or is it
writing or drawing?
Yeah, or is it more of an organic thing for you? Because I
I mean, the way that I write is by drawing. So you know, I draw I don't like write a script like Dragon Puncher says blah 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 blah. Well, I just draw it. Just draw it really quick. I draw the whole book as fast as I can. You know, so it's as much like writing, just getting the idea down there. And then I look, and then I try not to change it that much because in drawing so fast, I get wonderful gestural quality to the bodies, and I don't want to lose that. I don't want to tighten it up and make everything stiff. I want that same spark,
the same energy.
Yeah. So then I really just you know, I think this is pretty typical. The rough the pencils, and the inks. So you draw each book 3 times. It's really easy to suck all the life out of the book. So, but I've gotten good at not sucking all the life out. And one of the ways that I've learned recently to keep it as close to the original as possible is when I do my pencils, I just trace the rough. Right. The rough might be all sorts of different wrong sizes. I just take the rough, I scan it, blow up the panels so that they are going to fit, my finished page, and then trace it. Cool. It's funny how, like, when you're a little kid, you think like tracing, that's the worst thing you could do, but tracing your own art.
Well, yeah. I had this conversation with someone the other day, and I like to doodle. Yeah, I'm not sure there's a comic book fan out there that doesn't like to doodle. And I drew a picture for my wife, a Wonder Woman headshot. And once I got the shape down, I went and photocopied it like a gazillion times so that I could practice on all the dud copies until I got what I wanted. Then put that into the original. Then photocopy the original again so I could like mess around and do the hair differently and try different things in different shades and stuff. By the time I was finished, I had like 40 different dud Wonder Woman pictures, all for one Christmas present. So
so when I am drawing fast like that, I usually feel like, boy, that gestural drawing was perfect. I don't want to change this at all. I just want to trace it. But it's not always good. And then you have to draw it from scratch. And then you're stuck in one of those positions where you're drawing the same panel like 10 times. No, that's no good. Erase. No, that's no good. Erase. And eventually,
it sticks.
Eventually you've got it. And you've got marks all over the page. The paper's all gouged up, but you finally get it.
See, I see your problem here. You've been using my sketch pad. That's exactly what my sketch pad looks like. So, get me top shelf on the phone. But I hear what you're saying, man. I hear. I'm not an expert. I am not an expert by any shape of imagination. So I draw my picture. I look at it, I think, yeah, that's pretty good. I like that. And I'll come back to 2 hours later. I'll be like, yeah, I hate that. I hate that. I hate that. And then I'm like, so when I come back to it, I always try and find a couple of things that I like. So it took me a while to get hands correctly.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so...
I did a drawing thing with little kids earlier in the spring where I taught them how to draw a fist. And I like to...
baseball.
Yeah. Well, I usually show them like how I draw it, right? And they try and follow along, and it comes out a total mess because it's really hard. It's like that's very complicated and strange overlap and stuff. So I came up with just on the fly, like I like to come up with an easy way to draw anything I show them how to draw. So I show them how I would just do it, and then I show them an easy way. And I made up a great easy way to draw a fist where you can just follow along a couple simple marks, and you've got a great fist. And their minds are like blown. I made it so easy for them.
I tend to I do like a trapezoid maybe with the point being there and then coming off at angles, and then that's it, done.
Yep, good.
That's it. Trapezoid done. Next. Yeah. Cylinders for arms done. But no,
before you were talking about like where did I get the idea for the Dragon Puncher, for the Dragon Puncher comic? Well, you're asking how I got the idea for combining drawing and photography, but I also write songs, and it started as a song. I wrote a song called Dragon Puncher.
Tell me you've got it there to play.
I can sing it for you.
Oh, yes. Go on.
It goes, I am the Dragon Puncher, a punching I will go. If you are a dragon, I will punch you in the nose. I am the Dragon Puncher, you know I ain't no liar. The dragon tried to burn me, but I ain't scared of the fire, 'cause I know the secret of infinite lives. I know the secret, so I never die. and then there's more lyrics.
That's going to like play in my head all the time.
It's funny. I partway through the song, I suddenly didn't know what my next word was. But yeah, but then I remembered it.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah, thanks.
I'm going to play back this now. It's going to be my ringtone. I'll record it on my phone. Yeah.
But I do have I have this album called Digital Elf, and the song Dragon Puncher, I think, is the lead song on that album. Right. It's chiptunes. If you're familiar with chiptunes,
I'm not.
It's a genre of music where you make the music on old video game equipment.
Right, okay.
So you're using the sound chip from in this case, the sound chip from a Game Boy to make the music. Okay. And you can buy like special carts that do it. Like some people have made like Game Boy software. You just plug it in and then use the buttons to compose your song. It's such an awkward, it's like the most awkward interface, using a D-pad and the A and B button to compose your song, but slow, laborious.
But hey.
But you get it. Yeah, you get it done.
Billboard charts and any dead soon that one. So music, art, writing, photography. Anything else?
Sure. Oh yeah, I love to cook. Oh my God. And I do it the same way that I do my comics and my songs. I just kind of make it up as I go along. But my big thing for the last couple of years has been curry. And I didn't follow a recipe. I just reverse engineered it. So it took me a couple of years to get it right. And I know a few different ways of making it that are completely different, but still end up with the same end result. Okay. And I make it different every time because there's, like different combinations of spices and things like that. And,
cool.
I think like the best way is if you can throw some goat fat in there. That just is incredible.
I was going to say, I'm really looking forward to my invitation, but I think I'm on that.
Have you ever tried goat?
No.
It's the best.
No.
It's probably the most of all the meats you could eat. It's probably the most
environmentally friendly.
Environmentally friendly. Yeah, because
you're just trying to make friends because you chopped down a tree.
Here's the great thing about goat meat. Well, at least in the U.S., there's no goat herds bigger than like 30 animals. So it's always from a small herd. They haven't figured out how to grow them in a factory, so they're all free range. They won't eat feeds. You can't like just feed them one crappy thing until they're stuffed like other animals. If they can't eat a little bit of this and a little bit of that, they just won't do it.
On the side note, my wife loves goat's cheese.
Yeah, it's great cheese. Yeah.
Cheddar, Wensleydale, all the way for me. Thank you very much.
But if you're really morally concerned about meat, you probably just won't eat meat at all. But
everyone likes a curry every now and again.
Yeah,
cool. That's cool. Right, so let's have a look. The book. Go on.
Yeah. I have a new song coming out.
All right. What's it? Oh, do we get it? Oh, let me get my phone recorder ready.
So this it comes out September 16th. It's called The Mummies on the Loose. And it's actually a song I wrote in 85, but never did and my band has played it this whole time. Never recorded it until now, but I recorded it not with my regular band, but with another band that I really love called Rough Francis. And they're awesome. They're awesome local heroes from my town, Burlington, Vermont. And then we got guest vocals by Jello Biafra of the Dead Kennedys. And it's great. And produced, mixed by my friend Peter Cadis, who is a Grammy-winning producer. He produced The National and Interpol and a bunch of great bands. And the song just sounds so massive. and great, intense, and hilarious, fun punk rock song.
See, you say this. Do you have it to play?
Oh, I can't play it. I don't.
That's fine.
You know,
fine. We'll come back. We'll come back on the 16th. Don't worry. We'll come back.
Okay, I'll just sing you like the first line.
Go on then.
Okay. The mummy's on the loose. The mummy's on the loose. He killed a farmer and a guy from IBM. The mummy's on the loose. And then the chorus is, run, don't stop. He'll tear your head right off. Run, don't stop. He's all bound up in cloth. He hates things that move.
All right, there you go.
But just imagine that with the best rock band you ever heard in your life.
Yeah. That sounds a lot like, maybe not in, I haven't heard the song, but the kind of fun lyrics element, bit of, is it Bare Naked Ladies? They're like fun lyrics in there.
Sure.
I
haven't listened to a lot of Bare Naked Ladies, so I don't know. But yeah.
They do.
Yeah, or what are some of the comparisons that people make a lot? Now, They Might Be Giants isn't punk at all, and this song is pretty punk. But They Might Be Giants. Or Ween. It's although my career has actually been. I'm pretty sure I've had a pretty long career in music. My first album is James Kochalka Superstar, came out in 1995. And I was making music before that too. Put out a lot of cassettes and stuff.
Cassettes.
Yeah, I did. And one piece of vinyl in the early 90s.
Bless. Cassettes. I bet you still tape stuff on video, don't you?
No.
No, I don't know. I'm joking.
Although I did record an album on 4-track just a couple of years ago. Oh, cool. One of my old music buddies was like, "Why don't we record an album on 4-track like we used to?" Yeah. And I was like, "Okay," and we did. And then I remembered why we don't really do that anymore. It sounds like crap. No, the album came out really good, but there's a lot of tape hiss on 4-track. And I was a little surprised at first how much hiss there is when you record on 4-track, but we made that work for us. I did a song about, how awesome tape hiss is.
Back in the day, my brother had a band. It was called Area 51, and their big hit, he's gonna kill me for this, was called My Robot. And it kind of went, "My robot, I made him. He answers to me." That was pretty much it.
That's pretty good.
Something about kicking your ass, get out of jail for free. And the chorus was something like Alpha Centauri, like a little chanty thing going on.
Oh, Monkey! That other book that I was just telling you about, Monkey versus Robot. Yeah. That was also a song before it was the graphic novel series. And then my book series, Glorkian Warrior, I wrote a whole album of Glorkian Warrior songs in addition to the 3 Glorkian Warrior graphic novels, and now 2 Glork Patrol spin-off graphic novels. And on my Patreon, I'm serializing a graphic novel called Jimmy's Elbow. It's about a boy with an elbow, a sentient elbow.
Just one? One?
He's got more than one elbow, but there's only one that's like a character in the story. The other elbow's just there.
He's the angry sibling that gets no attention.
Yeah, we'll see. No spoilers.
Sorry.
But I just did. I just posted page 106 of Jimmy's Elbow on my Patreon this morning, so I'm cooking along quite well with that. I had originally thought, this is like the worst idea I've ever had, that I'll just draw like 20 pages of this and just for a laugh and see how it goes. But I just had so much fun. I've been having so much fun drawing, and I just haven't stopped. And then I thought, well, I'll probably wrap this up by page 100.
Yeah.
And around page 100, I had a good ending. I just kept going.
I have to say, I'm absolutely impressed by your passion and your sheer creativity. I'm absolutely blown away by just the different ways that you look at the world and think, oh, song, photo, comic book. I'm absolutely very impressed, James.
Oh, thanks. Well, I've been doing it all since I was a little kid.
All right.
So I was drawing comics and writing songs, and I used to make movies. Had a Super 8 camera, and I'd make my little friends in the neighborhood star in science fiction movies with me. And then I was making my own as soon as I discovered the photocopy machine. So like mid 70s or something, discovered they had a photocopy machine at the library, and I started making zines, and this is before I knew zines were even a thing, but I was making zines and selling them to other kids at school, and
cool.
Yeah, just doing it all. Doing it, and I didn't know there's you could make a career out of just
being creative.
Yeah, I didn't know. I said I didn't know you could make a career out of just being on fire.
And on fire you are, sir.
Yeah. Like I'm just on fire.
All right, excellent. So, if you're interested in the book, you can check out this link. Alternatively,
that's a very long link, so I would say go to topshelfcomics.com, type in Dragon Puncher, or you could. This is the terrible thing. I went to Amazon, right? Typed in this used to be able to search for the book on Amazon, and then something went wrong. I typed in Dragon Puncher, searched, and all it was is hole punching things.
Really?
None of I went through all the pages, no mention of my book. I tried Dragon Puncher punches back, just hole punchers. No mention of my book at all. Then I typed in Dragon Puncher book, and then there it was. But that's terrible. None of these things, not a single. So you just typed in Dragon Puncher, not a single thing that popped up on like 3 or 4 pages of listings. Not a single thing had anything to do with dragons.
To be fair, I don't know what's going on with Amazon's search model, but I was looking for a Miami Dolphins thing, and the Dolphins are a pretty big football team, right? Even I know you're up in New England territory, so
that's my favorite team.
What, New England?
No, Miami Dolphins.
Shut up! Really?
It is.
You live up in Vermont. You can't like the Miami Dolphins.
No, you know why? Because I only ever watched like one football game in my life, and I was like a little boy, and it was the World Series, and they won.
All right. Okay.
So I was like, Miami Dolphins, best team.
Yeah, they were. We'll beat the Patriots this weekend. Yes, I was looking for something for Miami Dolphins, and I could not find anything. But you have to put in the exact parameters. So I had to put Miami Dolphins jersey, then the number that I wanted, and then boom, loads of them came up.
I watched another football game. I watched the one the famous Janet Jackson.
Oh, right, yes.
And I looked away at that 1 second.
Did you?
Yeah. I was like, I looked away, and then my friend was like, "Oh my God, she just showed her boobs," and I'm like, "No, she didn't. You're lying." She's like, "No."
So over here, because of the time difference, when the Super Bowl's on, it kicks off about 1 o'clock or something stuff like that. So what happens for me is I watch the first half of the Super Bowl, then I set an alarm for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes after, so I can snooze between the halftime show, right? Because I don't particularly care. I'm not about the football. That particular game, I woke up slightly early, just in time to see the reveal. And I was like, whoa, look at that. You don't see many of those in a football game. But there you go.
Well, I've seen more than those two, but those are the two those are the two football games that I remember. Usually I'm just, just interested in hanging out with my friends or whatever. I don't really watch any sports at home. I understand people like them.
Yeah. You sound like people at work when I talk about comic books. Like, yeah. Like, if you want to keep up to date with everything that James is doing, check out Instagram. It's there at Kochalka. Got it right this time.
Yeah. And then on Twitter, it's at the underscore. Yeah. Bleh. On Twitter, it's at the underscore Kochalka. I don't know why I picked that. Well, I know that because Kochalka was already taken by somebody.
Let's see if I get this right. There you go.
That looks right to me.
Boom. There you go. I will be adding you later, so that's.
I can't point it there. Now I'm pointing at it.
Yeah,
it's very hard. Yeah. It's hard to. It's like reverse of a mirror, right? Like.
Yeah.
It's very hard.
It's crazy. And for a range of merch and crazy fun stuff, check out kochalka.bandcamp.com for a whole host of crazy stuff.
The music. That's where you'll find my music. Or you can find it on. You can find it on Spotify or Tidal or Amazon Music or Apple Music or Google Play or wherever you want to do it. It's on like 200 different streaming services all over the world. Something like that.
And the book is out on the 20th of September. Is that correct?
Ooh, yes. Yes.
So there you go. Get it pre-ordered. Go to the website. Check Amazon if you put in the full title. And you'll be able to get that sorted for you. Or alternatively...
No, you put in the full title. It doesn't show up. You have to put in an abbreviated version of the title plus the word book.
Or if you want to get tips, get yourself down to your local comic book shop.
Get to your local store. Your local, if your local comic book store doesn't have it, order it through your local indie bookstore. And it's fine with me if you ask the library, you get it from the library. If you go to the library and they don't have one of my books and you ask for it, they'll order it for you.
There you go. Plenty of ways to get it. James, it's been an absolute pleasure. You have absolutely blown me away. So I actually thank you for spending the time. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, it was great. Thank you so much.
Cool. Don't forget to check out the UCPN for all your favorite shows, including the No Price podcast. And for people who like their comic books of a more mature age, it's the Old Timers Comic Book Show, where the hosts aren't old, but the comics most certainly are. James, thanks once again. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I've been your host, Johnny the Machine Hughes, and as always, adios.
Visit undercovercapes.com for the latest and greatest podcasts via the Undercover Capes Podcast Network. Also visit our parent company website, comiccrusaders.com, all about comic pop culture.